to Friday's Geek Entertainment Spectacular. Not indeed the Saturday Night Hangout, as Danny accidentally put up. Excellent. Now we're all caught up. Hey everybody, how's it going? Okay, I'm here and I'm ready. Whew, it's been a hectic day. And I was a little bit late, I think. Almost, we're pretty close. Sorry if you had to watch a little bit extra. Wait, get out of there. Alrighty, so, hey Patrick. How you guys doing? Ah! Alright, so tonight we are talking classic cartoons, vintage cartoons, and such. So basically we're going to be covering all that was popular in early cartoons and everything, I guess, like up until the 70s, because we've covered the 80s, we did 90s and 2000s, we did adult animation, and we're gonna round it out with the classics. Alright, so while going through everything for this stream, seemed like a good idea to like make Hanna-Barbera cartoons their own separate list, and then from there go on to the other cartoons that weren't Hanna-Barbera cartoons, because man, from 1958, which is when the Hanna-Barbera cartoon started, up until well into the 80s and maybe beyond, Hanna-Barbera did a lot of cartoons, and especially pre-80s, like almost everything was Hanna-Barbera. And the ones that I could find that weren't Hanna-Barbera, really, for them, I mean, there were some that are popular cartoons that you'll know, but a lot of them are just like lesser known, whatever. So most of the classic cartoons we know are in some way Hanna-Barbera cartoons. So we'll get started. We'll do the whole Hanna-Barbera list first, and then we'll go into what other classic cartoons. And then I'm going to ask you guys if there's any that you can think of that maybe we didn't. So, hang out. Alright, so Hanna-Barbera started in 1958 with Huckleberry Hound. Huckleberry Hound, the first Hanna-Barbera cartoon, from 1958 to 61. So part of the Huckleberry Hound show was, yeah, Daddy, you're right. This is a long section. It's really long. I mean, props to Hanna-Barbera. I feel like they probably hold the record for the most cartoons. We'll see. So part of the Huckleberry Hound show was Huckleberry Hound, Yogi Bear, which later spun off into its own show, but originally Yogi Bear was a segment of the Huckleberry Hound show. Pixie and Dixie and Mr. Jinx, they were two little miceys, Pixie and Dixie. Like, I can't believe that I really do remember probably like 90% of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. There were, ooh, Leia stole one of my toys. She stole my unicorn donut. Anyway, oh, Pixie, Dixie, and Mr. Jinx, and Hokey Wolf, which I don't remember that one off the top of my head, but I definitely remember the other three. So going all the way back to then. And I probably wasn't old enough to actually remember. I mean, I was born pre-80s, like slightly pre-80s, but it wasn't until like the early 80s that I could probably remember the things that I was watching. So you got to think those things had a pretty long replay life. All right, so next after Huckleberry Hound was Quick Draw McGraw. Quick Draw McGraw from 1959 to 1961. So also part of Quick Draw McGraw was Augie Doggy and Doggy Daddy. It's funny because I have a cousin named Augie, so we kick that one around once in a while. And then something called Snooper and Blabber. That one I don't recall, but hey PTV. Ooh, In-N-Out Burger. We've never had that because they don't have them here, and we've never been out there. But from what I hear, In-N-Out Burger is the move. And when I go, I'm definitely going there first. Followed up 1960 to 66, the Flintstones, which we don't really need to get into too much because like the Flintstones, the Jetsons, they ended up coming up again in 80s cartoons probably, maybe. In adult cartoons, they both came up because they were prime time shows, so they were considered for adults. Right, so then that was followed up with the Yogi Bear show in 61. So part of the Yogi Bear show was Snagglepuss and Yacky Doodle, which I do think I remember. It's like a little chicken, a little yellow chicky thing, I think. Then my boy Top Cat, 61 to 62, that smooth little cat. After Top Cat was the Hanna-Barbera New Cartoon Show in 62 to 63. That featured Wally Gator, Touche Turtle, and Dum Dum, and Lippy the Lion, and Hardy Har Har. Then the Jetsons in 1962. In 1964, they put out the Magilla Gorilla Show. So the Magilla Gorilla Show also featured Pumpkin Puss and Mush Mouse, if anybody remembers that, and Ricochet Rabbit and Droop Along. I do remember. And next Hanna-Barbera adventure was Johnny Quest in 64. I think Johnny Quest got a replay on Cartoon Network when it came out. A lot of the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons got a replay on Cartoon Network when they first came out. Definitely not all of them, but so a lot of you will know a lot of these classic cartoons from especially earlier Cartoon Network days when they didn't have like as much of their own like series to play, so they used to play just a ton of Hanna-Barbera. So in 1964, the Peter Potamus Show hit. Also part of the Peter Potamus Show were Breezely and Sneezely and Yippee Yappy Yahooey. Next followed up with the Adam Ant and Secret Squirrel Show. So that went from 65, hello puppy, to 68. You want to come say hi? You can if you want to. You can't steal my toys though, okay? No, nobody wants to see your butt though. Turn around. Turn around. Adam Ant and Secret Squirrel, 65 to 66. 1968. So that featured, of course, Adam Ant, Secret Squirrel, separately. They were their own, like, little segments. Squiddly Diddly, Precious Pup, the Hillbilly Bears, and Winsome Witch. Excellent. Hanna-Barbera did do, like, I will definitely point them out as I come across them, but classic cartoons had a lot of really cool little, like, horror cartoons. Really cool old cartoons that, like, if you get a chance to check them out, do it. But I'll let you know. Sinbad Jr. and His Magic Belt. So that was an animated series about Sinbad the pirate, and that ran from 65 to 66. Followed up by a Laurel and Hardy animated series. I don't know, some of you might remember that. That one didn't get as much replay like later on, but you would catch it really occasionally. Laurel and Hardy animated was from 66 to 67. From 66 to 68, a show called Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossibles. Check it out. Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossibles. That's one of those shows that you rarely will see replayed, but you know, I love all those old little horror cartoons. Followed up by 1966, the debut of Space Ghost. So, Space Ghost and Dino Boy. They were their, I believe, own segments also. From 66 to 68, and then, as we all know, from the adult animation stream, Space Ghost went on to do a very popular talk show. Hey Noah, hey Tony, hey guys. Right, after Space Ghost was a show called Space Cadets. Then there was an Abbott and Costello cartoon in 67. There was Birdman and the Galaxy Trio in 67. Also, the Herculoids, a show called Shazam. I remember none of these. I don't remember. I feel like Birdman maybe I've seen. I don't think I know the Galaxy Trio, the Herculoids, Shazam, for sure not. Then the Fantastic Four. So Hanna-Barbera debuts the Fantastic Four in 67. Then Moby Dick and Mighty Mightor in 67. Also, Samson and Goliath, which is sometimes called Young Samson, debuted in 67. Also, there's one Hanna-Barbera page. There are multiple Hanna-Barbera pages. This is the beginning of 2? Yes. This is the one we've all been waiting for. The one that Danny kept asking me, was it ever going to come up during one of my animation streams? And here we are. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll fit it in, but I don't need to fit it in because it fit itself in. The Banana Splits Adventure Hour debuted in 1968, ran until 1970. A lot of you should know probably the Banana Splits. There was see, told Danny was excited. So, Banana Splits Adventure Hour was Hanna-Barbera's first live action and also animated series. So that's how this went. So the Banana Splits was both live action and animated. There was also a part of Banana Splits Adventure Hour called Danger Island, and Danger Island was also live action. Then there was Arabian Nights, Three Musketeers, and Micro Ventures. And those 3 were all animated segments that were part of Banana Split's Adventure Hour. You're killing me, Hanna-Barbera. So, have a little Banana Splits reminiscing session, and you can go back and watch some old Banana Splits. And there's a new Banana Splits movie that came out, I don't know, last year, maybe, something like that. And you can watch that and see how you feel about it. I won't tell you. Alright, so that's followed up by Adventures of Gulliver, 68. The New Adventures of Huck Finn in 68. Also, 68 is also the year that Wacky Races premiered, which we saw lots of on Cartoon Network. Like Wacky Races, Lap Olympics, all that good stuff. Then 69, there was a show called The Perils of Penelope Pitstop. I don't remember that one. Dastardly and Muttley in Their Flying Machines, which featured the Magnificent Muttley and Wingdings. And then a show called Chattanooga Cats in 69. Then Hanna-Barbera premieres Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? In 69. And then New Scooby-Doo in 72. And there would go on to be several more re-releases of Scooby-Doo, as you all know. Scooby-Doo has just been done a bazillion times. But it's excellent, and we love it, so. I really love those, like, old Scooby-Doo episodes. And especially, like, the guest stars, you know, Phyllis Diller on Scooby-Doo. I have an episode somewhere with Sonny and Cher on Scooby-Doo. I feel like the Addams Family did a Scooby-Doo. I know they had their own. Yeah, right? The Globetrotters, of course, were on Scooby-Doo, all that good stuff. So, Scooby... Hi, Scooby-Doo. Thanks for stopping in. This is so impressive. Like, I don't even know what to do with myself right now. We have a real-life celebrity in the chat. I have to tell you, Scoob, Leia is a big fan. Whenever we go out and Leia has to stay home alone, she watches Scooby-Doo. Hey, Mike. Boop, 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 boop. Now I got Scooby-Doo threw me off my game. Now I don't know where I was. Oh, yeah, I was on Scooby-Doo. Alright, then the Harlem Globetrotters cartoon, 1970. Harlem Globes cartoon featuring the voice of my man, Scatman Crothers, who some of you may know from the movie The Shining. He played, you know, the cook. Yeah, Scatman. He's awesome. So, I was a big fan and was interested to find out that I guess he did some voice work, but one of the shows that he did was the Globetrotters, and that's cool. Then one of my favorite shows debuted in 1970, Josie and the Pussycats. I loved that when I was little. And then Josie, like, okay, so Josie and the Pussycats ran from 70 to 71. And then there was a show called Josie and the Pussycats in Outer Space that ran in 72. Okay. So I have to, like, figure out, like, the timeline of where it all happened and why some cartoons from the Archie comic characters, because things like Josie and the Pussycats, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, bunch of different things like that, originally came from the Archie comics. And the Archie comics had a Hey. Oh boy. Good luck. Thanks for stopping in, Lena. I keep getting distracted. Okay, so after Josie and the Pussycats and the Assorted. So, there wasn't really an Archie cartoon listed under Hanna-Barbera until much later. I know that there were animated Archie cartoons, but I didn't necessarily find them on any lists. So, I will check into that, let you know. They had a show called Where's the Huddies in 70. Pebbles and Bam Bam 71 to 72. Help! It's the Hair Bear Bunch. That was a really cute cartoon. That was out from 71 to 72. Then another of my favorite old weird cartoons that you should really check out, The Funky Phantom. So The Funky Phantom was out from 71 to 72. Danny, I'm pretty sure we saw a Funky Phantom lunchbox when we were at the Lunchbox Museum. I feel like maybe a couple of these cartoons we saw. We have to really go back. I don't know what made it into the final video, but I have to go view the raw footage from the Lunchbox Museum and see what lunchboxes from these different cartoons that we found. We should flash some of them maybe on Saturday night. That'll be cool. Okay, so The Funky Phantom was this show about a Revolutionary War era ghost that helped these 3 teenagers solve mysteries. Oh god, it's hilarious. Dude, check out The Funky Phantom. Then they had a cartoon, I don't know if anybody remembers this gem either, called The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan. This was a cartoon that was made off of a series of detective films, the Charlie Chan detective movies, and they made a cartoon off of that called The Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan. Alright. Then a show called Wait Till Your Father Gets Home, 72. The Roman Holidays. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It was a show with a bunch of animals, but they were in ancient Rome. Like you do. That came out in 72. C-Lab 2020 also came out in 72. Speed Buggy, 1973. Super Friends. Super Friends came out in 1973 also. This is another one of those shows. Okay. But, alright. So there's a show that they did in 73 to 75 called Goober and the Ghost Chasers. Goober and the Ghost Chasers was a group of kids and a dog named Goober that could be invisible or something like that. And the dog helped them I don't know, hunt ghosts, solve mysteries, Scooby-Doo-ish kind of stuff. MC Hammer cartoon, I can't. Yes. But when I looked at it on Wikipedia, it said that Goober and the Ghost Chasers was an animated version of the Partridge Family. And when I saw it, I was like super, super young, and I would have had no idea who the Partridge Family was. So I guess that it's possible. Um, um, Yo, Orlando Mike, I'll just say yes, and that's all I'll say. So yeah, I don't remember it being a Partridge Family show, but I would have been too young to know the Partridge Family. So hey, I could not remember that. Who knows? Then everybody's little man, Inch High Private Eye, Inch High Private Eye in 1973. Also in 1973, Genie, which was an animated version of the show I Dream of Jeannie. And then in 1973, also, like, all of these cartoons, I mean, every once in a while there might be one that had like a 2-year run or something like that. I think Speed Buggy was actually on for like 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. I have to check that one. It was one of those shows, but I'm pretty sure it was Speed Buggy. But most of these shows only ran for like a year, 2 max. So, like, even the popular ones, even the ones that you remember, they were actually made for a very brief amount of time. After looking at things like The Simpsons, which has been making episodes for 52 years, yeah, these animated series ran super quick and then got replayed for, 20, 30,000 years after that, which is crazy. But, to get to my point, in 1973, the Addams Family cartoon came out. Super awesome. It did not have, of course, the whole cast of the Addams Family, but it did have Jackie Coogan, who played Uncle Fester, and Ted Cassidy, who played Lurch. So they were part of the animated series, and that's pretty cool. On to Hong Kong Phooey, 1974. A show called Devlin. It was like a superhero show kind of thing. That was 74. Then there was an actual cartoon called Partridge Family 2020 AD. That ran from 74 to 75. I don't get the... No, it's 22... Yeah, not 2020. Sorry. Like, it being 2020 threw me off. It's 2200 AD. I have no idea what that's all about, and I'm sort of weirdly interested, but, I don't know. Something called These Are the Days, 74. Valley of the Dinosaurs in 74. Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch, which I definitely do remember Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch. It's hard to forget a motorcycle with a bass, but 74. Then they did the new Tom and Jerry, Grape Ape, and Mumbly show. And that ran from 75 to 77. Yeah. I don't know that I feel like Tom and Jerry... Was Tom and Jerry even a Hanna-Barbera cartoon? Like, or did they do like a reboot or something like that? Hey, Mom! I don't know. I feel like... I don't know. I have to look into that. Grape Ape, though, was one of my favorites. I loved Grape Ape. And I still love Grape Ape. And Danny will tell you that sometimes randomly I'll walk around and just be like, Grape Ape. Because it's great. Grape Ape. Dynamite came out in 76. The Scooby All-Star Laugh Olympics. Dun, dun, dun. ran from 77 to 79. So all part of that was Scooby-Doo, Laugh Olympics, Captain Caveman, and the Teen Angels. Captain Caveman. And Blue Falcon and Dynamite. Frankenstein, what are you doing? Come here. Come here. Oh, you want to know me now? And then in 77, CB Bear show, which had CB Bears, Posse Impossible, Blast Off Buzzard, Undercover Elephant, Shake, Rattle, and Roll, and Hey, It's the King. Right. So at that point, I think there might have been one or two minor ones that I have no idea what they are. A couple series that never came out, and anything else we would have gotten into in the 80s cartoon stream or the 90s, and so on and so forth from there. So, I think we have covered Hanna-Barbera since the beginning of time to current. So I definitely think Hanna-Barbera has been greatly represented in our animation month fiesta. Alright, so then I was like, okay, off the top of my head, let me try to think of the most popular classic cartoons that are not Hanna-Barbera. Like, what else is left now that we've gone through all of that? Like, I feel like the Tom and Jerry's all run together to me. And the only one that I can remember separately is the Crambone one. So I would have to go with Crambone as my favorite episode because it's the only one that I can call out from the other Tom and Jerry cartoons. But Tom and Jerry was on every day, somewhere, most of my life. So I've probably seen every one 50,000 times, which is probably, and there's probably only 20 of them or something. Who knows? Thank you, Scooby-Doo. I appreciate you noticing my extensive knowledge of cartoons. At least I'm good for something. But yeah, I've really always been a fan of animation, and my mom was actually a big cartoon fan also. So when we were kids, it wasn't oh, you can watch cartoons for this amount. We pretty much had to watch whatever, my mom would put on the cartoons that she wanted, or she would, be into the stuff that we were into anyway. My mom loved Thundercats, and all this stuff. And she knew all the old cartoons, so, whenever they on, she'd put that on. So, growing up with somebody who was into a lot of cartoon stuff was definitely helpful. She had a pretty good knowledge of stuff like that, too. Alright, so let's hit the list of cartoons that I thought of, classic cartoons, and see if you guys can think of any that I haven't. That would be awesome. Alright, so this is what I came up with. Pink Panther. That was 69. I didn't do the years for everything. Oh, maybe I did. Oh, I guess I'm pretty good. There was a Batman Superman hour, 68. Popeye, I didn't get a year for that one. There was a show called, since those horror cartoons, a show called The Groovy Ghoulies, that ran from 70 to 71. That is a really, really awesome old cartoon. So if that's another one that I would be like, if you like that kind of stuff like we do, that kind of like spooky stuff, check out Groovy Ghoulies. Really cool. There was a Return to the Planet of the Apes cartoon. Plastic Man. I remember Plastic Man being on a lot when I was really young. Well, it started in 79, so I was like a couple years old probably, but most of my life I kind of remember. I think that's one my mom liked a lot too, Plastic Man. We watched a lot of that. Baby Plaz and his blonde girlfriend, whose name I cannot remember. To think about that. Danny loves Mr. Bean. You and Danny can talk about. Oh, that's and as you can see, because Danny's responsible for putting all that up on the screen, and of course he sees Mr. Bean and has to pop that up because Danny loves Mr. Bean. Yeah, Goofy Google, Plastic Man. There was an Aquaman cartoon in 67. Sabrina the Teenage Witch cartoon that ran from 71 to 74, which is actually a long time for an animated series then, so I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen more episodes of the animated Sabrina the Teenage Witch out there. That'll be one that I'm gonna have to look into. Not really a series, but sort of a series, so it made the list. Schoolhouse Rock, 1973. Oh, I should have worn the Schoolhouse Rock t-shirt for this. Daddy and Mike are having a side conversation about Mr. Bean, apparently. Jabberjaw, the giant shark cartoon. Which I don't know, but I feel like Jabberjaw was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, but I didn't have it listed under the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, unless I might have accidentally missed it because that was an insane amount of Hanna-Barbera cartoons to go through. But yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, no, I did see. Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids ran from 72 to 85, which is a really decent stretch. I definitely saw a lot of that when I was young, and you guys, Casper the Friendly Ghost, Tennessee Tuxedo and His Tales. Oh, here's the rest of it. I was like, I know I had a whole more list, but there it is. Right. So these were the ones that Danny and I thought of too, which I probably don't have years for most of. Underdog, Mighty Mouse, Heckle and Jekyll. There's a cartoon called Fang Face. That was like a little werewolf dude. That was cool. And another one called Brady Cats. And it was about a cat who it was about this cat who was on his 9th life, and the ghost of his other 8 lives would like come help him out. Ooh, Mr. Whoopi, I don't have that. You guys are killing me today. What is it? Oh, where was I? Mr. Magoo, Warner Brothers, Looney Tunes, all that whole. I mean, I could probably do a whole thing on just like Looney Tunes cartoons and the different like segments that they had, different characters and all that stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like next week we might need to do the month for next month. I don't know. I'll have to check it out. If I have an extra week, maybe we'll do some in-depth diving into a few of those. Speed Racer. Go Speed Racer. I heard Daddy sing a Speed Racer in the other room. Rocky and Bullwinkle, Boris and Natasha, all that good stuff, of course. Dudley Do-Right. The Steamboat Willie cartoons, of course, Oswald, early Disney stuff, which I don't feel like was ever a TV series. I think they were like movie trailers and like shorts at the beginning of films, and that's where a lot of those aired. But and then of course you have all of the different like Of Iwerks, which I mentioned to you guys. Where did I get into Of Iwerks that day? But Of Iwerks was Walt Disney's original partner. I'm gonna type his name in again because it's because you guys should look up his stuff. He does really cool old cartoons, and he did the original Mickey Mouse and all that stuff. Walt Disney did not really create Mickey Mouse. Of Iwerks did, and yeah, that's him. And you can check him out. He did like that cartoon that goes around Facebook, the Skeleton Dance cartoon with all the little skeletons, that old one. And a lot of other old cool little cartoons like that. I feel like maybe he did that no, that was just a regular Disney one, that Legend of Sleepy Hollow. That was, I think, after him. But yeah, check out some Of Iwerk stuff. He did a lot of very sort of risque cartoons for the time, and things that were like, I don't know if you guys know, like in early animation, it wasn't all like kiddie stuff. Like they did some seriously messed up stuff in cartoons. And Of Iwerks did some seriously messed up stuff in cartoons sometimes. But yeah. Yeah, I agree, Mike. Where was I? Oh, Betty Boop and Felix the Cat. We did say Popeye. Woody Woodpecker. Chili Willy. Danny's doing his Woody Woodpecker in the other room. I was always a Chili Willy fan. I mean, I liked Woody Woodpecker, but Chili Willy was my fave. Peanuts cartoons, which I don't think that the Peanuts too, I mean, they had their specials. They weren't ever really a TV series in that vein. But there we go. So that is the classics that I came up with. What did I miss? And I know I had to miss something because bye, Mike. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did do like the Three Little Pigs. Oh. You mean Of Iwerks, Danny? Or I don't know. I remember with like Woody Woodpecker, those I don't know who did them, but there would be like that Three Little Pigs cartoon and like the little Red Riding Hood. Oh, there you are.
There was the wolf that had it was the performer on the stage that they did the mask for too. Also, it's a classic one.
Oh yeah. I can't remember his name, but yeah, there was an original cartoon wolf character that the Jim Carrey movie The Mask was based off of, or was the inspiration for, I should say. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can think of anything that I have not. let me know. I mean, we've thought of some stuff that somehow I missed in like other streams. I don't know what I missed in the 80s stream, but I feel like there were Snorks. Somehow Snorks never came up on my 80s list, even though I talked about Smurfs, but I never got to Snorks. And Snorks and Smurfs also both Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I'm telling you, it's all Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I missed a bunch in the 90s, 2000s. Somehow I missed Adventures of Billy and Mandy, which I probably could have thrown into adult cartoons too, possibly, because I don't know. But I love Billy and Mandy. I missed that. I missed. When did I ever do Powerpuff Girls in anything? I didn't miss Johnny. Oh, did I miss Johnny Bravo? I feel like I didn't miss Johnny Bravo, but I feel like I did somehow miss the Powerpuff Girls, and that's like my favorite show. So stupid. I miss Courage the Cowardly Dog. Yeah, a couple of other ones that I definitely should have remembered. So I'm sure there were some classic cartoons because once I got through the Hanna-Barbera fiasco, I was kind of burnt. And I was just like, what else can I think of? And my cartoon knowledge is pretty decent, and I feel like I probably got most of them. I did get Underdog. Underdog was in the Hanna-Barbera Fiesta. Or after. Oh no, he was on this list. Underdog. 64 to 73, which is actually a pretty decent cartoon run for back then, like 9 years. So Underdog was a pretty long running one. Yup. Did we do Mighty Mouse? Yes. I mean, I threw it in there, but yeah, I got Mighty Mouse. I feel like there's some Casper the Ghost-ish like cartoon that like I should know, but I mean there were other Hanna-Barbera ones too that got thrown in later that I feel like maybe didn't make the 80s stream, like Richie Rich. Like I missed Richie Rich in the 80s. Yeah, I liked Mighty Mouse. Speedy Gonzales. Underlay. Here I come to save the day. Well, I think that is all that I have for you tonight. Yep, I got Speed Racer. There's something. I don't know what it is though. I'll think of it as soon as I end this stream. I'll think of like 5 more that I haven't thought of all day. Because that's just how these things go. Thank you, Scooby-Doo. It was an honor and privilege having you as part of this stream. I'm sure one day we're going to have to do an entire stream dedicated to you, Scooby-Doo. Yeah, Hong Kong Phooey was in Hanna-Barbera, of course. Because that's how they do. Okay, Wreck-It Ralph. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. It was really fun tonight. You guys are hilarious. I had a great time. I hope you had a great time. We'll be back next Friday. And we'll be here tomorrow night at the Saturday midnight hangout. So Danny and I will be here together. Hey Shelly, thanks for stopping in. Hope your project is going well. Whew. I'm getting all raspy in here. Oh, alright, so I guess I'm gonna let you guys off for tonight. But if you're around tomorrow night, stop in for the midnight hangout. Always a lot of fun. We'll just be talking about whatever. Oh, cool. I look forward to that. Alright, so have a great night, guys. See you guys tomorrow, and we'll be back on Friday next week. Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, we'll be here for game night on Wednesday also. But I'll let you know about that tomorrow.